Welcome to the Building Up Women in Property podcast. I'm your host, Rebecca Bangura, and I'm thrilled to have you here with me today. This podcast is for ambitious women who work in property and construction, who want to learn how to have a career they love on their terms. Join me every week where I'll leave you excited and confident to take your next steps. Thanks for being here with me. Now let's get started. Hello, thank you for joining me for another episode. Today, I want to talk about leadership, specifically rethinking leadership. We have International Women's Day just around the corner, and every year it reignites a conversation around women's roles in our society. And if you've been here for a little while, you will know that I am so passionate about seeing more women in leadership positions within male-dominated industries and across society, government, and organisations at every level. I really do believe we need women in the room as part of the decision-making process in our workplaces, in our homes. And the truth is, there is a long way to go. But there is an opportunity for us to break through these glass ceilings and have a seat at the table and be part of this decision-making process. And in order to do that, we need to show up as leaders. So today I want to talk about leadership, and I want to talk about what leadership means for me and invite you on that journey too. And I think so much of what we have seen leadership look like in our lives and in our careers is not reflective of the direction we want to take leadership. So I want to invite you on this journey to rethink how you may be a leader. And I also want to just bust through some of the myths that I think still perpetuate our thinking of that leadership role. But before we get to that, I want you to just take a moment and think about a leader. Visualize them in your own mind. What do they look like? Now, oftentimes our mind automatically goes to executive leadership teams or CEOs, and typically we think of old white men. And that is because they are the common characteristics that we have seen in leadership for such a long time. And we tend to think of leaders as being in positions of authority or power, as they have been traditionally. But true leadership can manifest in so many different ways. It can be in the workplace, it can be in our communities, it can be in our homes. And when we think of leadership in those terms, it starts to broaden the concept we have of leaders, and it starts to open up the door to opportunity for what leadership might look like, and particularly that changing face of leadership. So as we go through these myths, I really want you to think about, what does leadership mean to you? What are those characteristics or traits that a leader has? Do you see yourself as a leader? Or how do you lead? And whether you've considered these questions before or they are new to you, I want you to see yourself as a leader. I want you to see the potential and the impact that you could have if you choose to step up and be a leader. Because there is no doubt in my mind that leadership is a choice. It is not about being appointed into a position. It is not about someone asking you for your opinion or your contribution. It is something that the most effective leaders are the people who choose to take on that role. They know who they are clear on their values, and they're clear on the impact they want to have. And that impact may be small or it may be huge, and neither is better. It's about what your place is, what your mark is going to be in the world, and how you want to change things. And how you want to change things through your contribution, through your existence in this world. And I believe that if you have a calling to be a leader in whatever capacity it is, that is worth pursuing. And the positive news is leadership is a skill set that you learn. And I'll cover that in a future episode. But I really want you to, just for the moment, sit with what leadership may look like for you. And as you're pondering that, I'm going to run through 4 of the most common myths that I hear about leadership. Okay, so myth number 1, leadership requires an outgoing personality. Now, I think we all understand where this one comes from, right? For so long, we have seen that persona of a leader as being someone outgoing and confident and often big and bold and boisterous. And many of us were taught that they are necessary attributes in order to be able to engage and lead and inspire people. But that isn't true. Great leadership is about genuine connection and engagement. And you don't need to be an extrovert or a bold personality in order to create that relationship. In fact, I don't know if you've ever had that experience of watching someone present who is really softly spoken, and they actually manage to hold an audience's attention in a quiet and understated manner. And I think as we are seeing more diversity in leadership, we are seeing more women, more people from different backgrounds. We are starting to see different types of leadership. We are starting to see people who lean more into their feminine traits than their masculine traits. And we are having a new opportunity to redefine what leadership looks like. And it simply isn't one size fits all. And I think once we acknowledge that, we have the opportunity to really embrace our own natural leadership style. And that can actually be our superpower when we embrace it fully, when we actually connect with our own unique leadership style and we own our voice, rather than trying to fit an outdated mold of what leadership looks like. And I think once we embrace the fact that leadership comes in all shapes and sizes, and there is no one type of personality that suits leadership better than another, we actually open the gates to allow ourselves to really embrace our own unique leadership style and to convey our message in a way that connects with more people. But it requires us to let go of that preconceived notion of what a leader should be like and embrace our natural style as our unique superpower. And that is actually what allows more connection and more engagement with those around us. Now, the second myth is leadership is the same as management. And to be honest, the two things couldn't be farther from each other. Now, often you will have a manager who is also a leader, or a leader who is also a manager. But the two functions are very distinct. And this is particularly important when you're considering your own career development and your skill set and your leadership style. It's really important to clearly know the difference between leadership and management, because leadership is about having this big vision and about being able to enroll other people in that vision too, so that you are working towards a common purpose. It's essential that you understand the big picture and that you are communicating effectively and consistently on what the goals and objectives are. But when you think about a manager, their role is to formulate and execute the plan to achieve the goals. They are that level down where they're doing the nitty-gritty, the day-to-day works. They are supporting the teams. They are driving performance at an operational level. And both roles are vital. Without managers, nothing would get done. And without leaders, there would be nothing to work towards. And as I said before, there is often a crossover in these two functions. But it's important to realize you might naturally be an outstanding leader, but a really lousy manager. Or you might be an outstanding manager, but not have that natural leadership inclination. And in both cases, you can learn the skills, but it's important to identify and understand the difference and know when you need to lean into which skill set. I hope you've been enjoying the episode. I wanted to take a moment to let you know about my free Career Confidence Masterclass. This is for ambitious career-orientated women who are ready to stop playing small and to confidently create a career you love. Head over to my website, beautifuldisruptions.com, for more info. Now let's get back to the episode. Okay, now myth number 3. You need to have a team to be a good leader. Now, having a team is by no means a prerequisite for leadership. In fact, I've seen some graduates being outstanding leaders despite being new to the profession and having very few responsibilities and no team at all. And the truth is, you can be a leader at any and every stage of your career. And frankly, the sooner you step into being a leader, because being a leader is about taking people on the journey with you. And it is about working to a collective good or a common purpose. And the sooner you embrace that and the sooner you allow yourself to step into a leadership role without being given permission or a title, then the sooner you will have more impact and more influence through your work. People will see what you are doing. People will be drawn to you because of the clarity of your vision and because you inspire and support those around you. So don't get hooked up on your job title or your seniority and be waiting for that permission slip to step up as a leader. Instead, think of leadership as being a mindset. And the sooner you step into that and the sooner you embrace that, the more opportunities will open up to you because everyone wants to be around a good leader. It makes work more fun and more meaningful, and we're all driven by that. So don't wait for permission. Decide to be a leader right now and apply that thinking, that mindset to your position right now. So the final myth I want to talk about today is that being a leader requires personal sacrifice. And this is probably my favourite myth to bust, because most of us hold this notion that senior leadership requires working longer hours, working harder, and having to manage unrelenting requests and hours in order to get everything done. And this myth assumes that there is a trade-off between successful outcomes in our career and our lives outside of work. And particularly for women in male-dominated industries, this can feel especially difficult to manage because more often than not, women bear the brunt of carer responsibilities outside of work, whether it's for children or aging parents. And often we see so few women around us in leadership roles who are juggling all of these different roles and responsibilities, both at work and in their personal lives. But over the years, I have realised that great leaders are not slaves to their work. In fact, the best leaders don't necessarily work longer or harder than anyone else around them. Quite often they actually know how to pull back much better than others. They know boundaries. They know how to perform at their best. And they implement habits and a structure around them that allows them to work at their peak, to be those high achievers. And that often requires them to have more balance and to have more space and habits that sustain their own health and well-being and ability to perform at the highest level. And great leaders, because they are clear on their purpose and they empower their teams to excel, they are able to focus on the important things. They're able to operate in their zone of genius and not try and do all of the things. And that actually allows them to have a much more balanced and aligned and joyful life, both in and out of work. And I really do believe that is possible for all of us. So I want to leave you with this final thought. Leadership is a choice, and it's one that is available to each and every one of us. Yes, we might need to learn new skills. Yes, there's always opportunities to be better, but do not wait for a permission slip to step up and be a leader. Instead, seek out those opportunities, step up, show up as a leader right now in your job and see the difference it makes. And remember, you can be a leader on your own terms. Bring your style, bring your personality, be uniquely you. Do not try and be a copycat of an outdated leadership style that doesn't align or bring out your best. Instead, trust that there is an amazing leader inside of you who can do big things in the world, and know that your voice is the exact voice we need to have more diversity, more fresh thinking and innovation within our industries and within our organizations. So stop waiting. I'm giving you permission right now to find your leadership voice. Okay, beautiful. Go out there, have a beautiful day, and be that leader that is inside of you. You've got this. Thank you for joining me on the Building Up Women in Property podcast. I'm Rebecca Bangura, and if you'd like to learn more about what I do, head over to LinkedIn and connect with me. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you next time.